Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming for this incredible opportunity to have a physical event happening with the DAC Art Prize Outdoors Indoors. We're delighted that it's actually made it into a physical space right in the middle of Powys. So you've got 2 months to go and actually view it, but you're going to have to be aware of the social distancing. But thank you ever so much for taking an hour out of your lunch break. We do hope you enjoy everything. There's lots of information in the chat if you're coming in late. At 1 o'clock, we'll be joined by the Deputy Minister and Chief Whip, Jane Hutt. So we're really delighted that she'll be coming in a bit later. I'm going to hand over to our chair, a brand new chair for Disability Arts Cymru, and this is her first public event as part of that role. So I'm just going to hand over to Natasha and let her give you more information about the event. See you later.
Hi, thank you, Ruth, and it's lovely to see everybody here today. Thank you ever so much for coming along. As Ruth said, this is my first kind of public appearance as chair of DAC. And I'm really excited to be involved, and also, you know, I've got a sense so far of the amazing work that Disability Arts Cymru does, and I'm really pleased to be able to play a role in taking that forward. So essentially, you know, welcome. This is the launch of Outdoors Indoors, which is DAC's first art prize. And please do add any comments to the chat as we go along. We'd like to thank our funders, who are the Co-op, Tesco and Arts Council Wales, for their very generous support that has enabled this project to go ahead. And thank you also to the other participating galleries. That's the Cynon Valley in Aberdare, Gallery in Carnarvon, Gyfarthfa Castle in Merthyr Tydfil, and lastly to Oriel Davies, and being able to open the exhibition physically in Newtown as well. So obviously the pandemic has interrupted some of the plans for this project somewhat, but it's I know that everybody has been really excited about today, you know, and all finally coming together. We also want to say thank you to the selecting panel of 7 artists and curators who chose the works for the exhibition. And that's Christopher, William, Rebecca and Stefan from each gallery, plus Fran and Brandon from the USA, and Dawn Joy from Singapore. And we'll be hearing from Dawn Joy and Fran later on. We're also delighted that Alan has developed this in his new role, and our thanks go very much to Alan and Kate for the hard work in getting the exhibition together for this important launch today. And so I will now hand over to Alan Whitfield, who is the National Visual Arts Officer for Disability Arts Cymru. So over to Alan, thank you.
Hi everyone. I am stood in a gallery. I am 6'2". I've got short crop blonde hair, and I'm wearing a real big set of headphones, and I've got glasses on. So that's my description. So we've finally made it. We are actually in a gallery, which is wonderful. Great support from Oriel Davies to be here today. Trying to think back to when we were selecting for this exhibition, it was a real interesting time because obviously COVID was going on in the background, but it was before there was any lockdown. So we had real aspirations of this touring through the 4 galleries around Wales. And virtually as soon as we'd done the selecting, they put lockdown on us. So we've sadly lost 3 of the galleries. It wasn't for the one to try in. But one of the things that really come across in the judging was we really had a good time. And I think it was the fact that, you know, we hadn't really seen anyone because it was the start of lockdown. So there was a real good atmosphere when we were selecting the work. We talked probably for about 3 hours. There was lots of difficult decisions. There was people that maybe just were a little bit off the brief. There was people that maybe the work didn't fit in, but there was nothing wrong with the quality of things that people had submitted. So the fact that we've got to this stage, and we're in a space is wonderful, and really it's quite emotional really to be able to see it, and the work of the year has paid off and come to this point. So I'm really happy. I think one of the things that's been really interesting for me is working along and learning about the access that we managed to implement into the space. We initially made a book because we didn't know whether we were going to get into any galleries. The book was put online and the work was audio described in English and Cymraeg. You could click on the links, but then to transfer that book into a solid copy, we're using QR codes, and now the QR codes are in situ with all the work in the gallery, so you can get a description from the artist in English or Cymraeg. So that's a real good thing. We had a lot of help from Chloe Clark, who did the audio description training, and the ability who helped us with the Welsh. What people wanted to say was really spot on for both of them. It gives me an immense pride to be able to look at the winners that we have. We've got Roy Barry, who won the overall inaugural DAC Arts Prize, and then we've got commended. We've got Howard and Million, sorry, and Dave Peacock was the other commended artist. So just to see them works in situ and everything else really sets things off for me. So I'd like you to pass you on now to Louise Wright, who's the portfolio manager at Arts Council Wales, and I'll speak to you in a bit. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and Oriel Callan for inviting me to say a few words over Zoom today. I really appreciate that. And I'm really excited too, not having been in a gallery for a while, and looking forward to seeing the works via Zoom. So as Alan said, I'm the portfolio manager at Arts Council of Wales. It's the development and funding agency for the arts in Wales. And I'm fortunate to work closely with many talented and inspirational visual and applied artists and organisations and across Wales. And I'm sorry I can't be in Newtown in person. Like many of us, I'm working from home. And just to describe myself, I'm wearing a blue shirt, I've got glasses on, and I've got very short hair, because during the lockdown, I decided that I'd cut my own. So I just want to say that opportunities like this are really important, either via Zoom and of course in the gallery. They provide a vital connection and point of conversation to help us all reflect, reimagine and respond to the situations we find ourselves in and the possibilities they can open up. And the artworks in the exhibition do just that. And I'd like to congratulate all the artists and the team involved, and I hope to see the exhibition in person at some point. And the DAC Art Prize this year demonstrates such high quality work by deaf and disabled artists in Wales. And the digital catalogue that Alan's mentioned, it's really superb. So if you haven't explored it, I'd really highly recommend you to do so. It's really brilliant. Connection is, I know from various meetings and focus groups I've joined with Alan and Ruth over the last 8 months, is a strong element of Disability Art Cymru's work. And I'm excited to be part of and to see many of the connections that DAC are forging within the sector, not only supporting artist opportunities like this, but also the valuable support and advice to further develop access strategies for disabled and deaf audiences and participants to engage with the visual and applied arts. And I want to, I'm really looking forward to the development of those new ideas and approaches, as these are critical if we are truly to be a sector that is innovative and equitable for all. And it's not easy to continue working in these circumstances for anyone, and it's a credit to DAC and to the visual arts sector that have been able to sustain engagement with audiences and artists. And unlike some other art forms, theatre and music, for instance, it has been possible to welcome communities back into the galleries in compliance with government restrictions and finding creative ways to operate this safely for all members of our communities. And it's really great to see Oriel Davies Gallery open, and full credit to all the staff and to Alan and the team as well for putting on this show, and I really hope to visit soon. And on that, I'd like to hand over to Stefan Jones, who's director of the Oriel Davies Gallery.
Thank you very much, Louise. That's really nice to hear you speaking today. Good afternoon. It's been a real pleasure working on this exhibition because I was involved from quite early on in the process. I've always, as a gallery, we're always really keen to engage with a rich, diverse audience, and that audience might be people visiting the gallery, or it might be artists who work at the gallery, or whose work we show. And it's just really nice to have this opportunity to share with you via Zoom this exhibition, which has kind of been quite a few months in the making, really. So the process was really great. We met as a team on Zoom and made the selection. All of the work was really interesting, and I think one of the most important things is that we actually think about, we at Oriel Davies value artists, full stop. So it doesn't really make any difference that this is a Disability Arts Cymru Art Prize. It's actually really important just to have this exhibition. It's a really beautiful show with a rich, diverse range of work, and we're delighted to be able to share that with our audience here. I'm surrounded, as you can see, we've got Susie Lark's piece here, we've got Catherine Gwillim's piece here, and we've got Jan Williams's work at the end there. And I'm going to move the camera around, so a bit later we'll be able to show you some more work in the show. But we plan to be open. We're open 11 till 4, Tuesdays to Saturdays at the moment, and if you want to, you're quite welcome to check in advance with us and book a place via Eventbrite. You find the details on our website. But no, it's just fantastic. It's a great show, and all the artists should be really sort of proud of their achievement in order to bring this work together. It shows a real rich seam of artistic talent in Wales and beyond, and it just kind of it's very, very moving. I'm going to pass over now to Alan again, and I think, Alan, are we having a conversation at this point? Alan?
Yes, we are.
Oh, there's a slight delay, sorry.
Sorry, I'm not used to being in the same room as people. Okay, so I really wanted to focus on something that was interesting to catch my eye, to see it in the physical form. So I wanted to pick Layla Bebb's work. Now, this piece of work for me is, I think it shows just confusion at the start of lockdown, which is, I know when Layla produced the work. My meaning of the work is completely different than hers. And I just think the intensity in the colour at the start is really solid, and as she works her way through, you can see the pen is running out, and I just think it says so much about the situation that we've all gone through, and I had to endure, really. But the colours in it are just really positive, and it'll always be a piece for me that sticks in my imagination for this show. Just pass you on to Stefan.
it's quite hard when you're actually trying to operate the camera at the same time, and it's not a normal Zoom. But anyway, I just wanted to share with you Roy Barry's work. Roy was the winner of the Dakar Prize this year, and we were all just really blown away by the beauty of these images. You know, they kind of really expressed the whole theme behind the exhibition, which is outside, inside. And you can kind of, there's just really good quality of contrast in the work outside and inside. There's a kind of really beautiful use of color. It's very sensitive. You know, the center one is a black and white image, but there's a sort of very muted color. And I didn't describe myself. I apologize for that. I am a middle-aged man with hair. I am very proud of the hair. A beard and glasses and a gap in between my teeth. And I'm wearing blue and grey. So yeah, we just, you know, this is a really nice piece of work. And then also we've got on the other wall here, and can you see this? I think you can see these just about. This is Tina Rogers's work. And we just really love this sort of, we were talking as a team when we were selecting the work, and we really liked the way that you know, the wheelchair and access and the kind of from black and white into colour. We just really loved that, and the contrast with the other piece where she's very wet in a hedge. We really loved the two pieces together. Thank you.
Okay. So, want to move over now to Jenny Joanne Bartholomew Biggs's work. Really think it's important to see this work in a bigger form. I've seen it a lot in the book, but I've also had the opportunity when I've been, you know, looking through stuff to be able to blow up the work. So I knew what intrigue there was as these images were bigger. Sorry, could you not see him? Whoops, technicality. So again, yeah, Jenny's work, it still intrigues me, the image on the right, that you're looking into a mirror which is capturing her outside view of her house. It looks like a window, and even seeing this in situ in the gallery, I'm still adamant that it's a window, even knowing that it's a mirror. And I think that question that Jenny's raising is early on again in the pandemic, and I know that she was isolated, self-isolating, so you know, maybe this was as close as she got for that period of time to the outdoor world, because we were totally unaware of, you know, to what level we could move about and how long we were going to be stuck indoors for. So I think these two pieces together in the gallery are really worth coming to take a view of and have a look. Okay, I'll pass you on to Stefan.
So I also wanted to share with you this piece, which was highly commended by Dave Peacock, and it's called The Helping Hand. And it shows, it looks, I'm not sure where it is, but I think it might be Newborough Beach in Anglesey. And there's a sort of sea in the background, and there's a lady in red who's helping an elderly, well, they're both elderly, and they're helping each other to sit or get up from a deck chair. And it's just that thing of the vulnerability of being disabled and the access to outside spaces that's really interesting, I think, in this particular piece. One of the things that we're really excited about with this exhibition, we quite often at Oriel Davies use QR codes to share additional information about the work. But this particular show has got a really great addition, which is that the QR codes, which are linked to each work, have a link to a SoundCloud audio description. So you can actually enjoy the exhibition through audio description in either Welsh or English. And I think that's a really great addition to this particular show. We always tend to show our exhibitions at a level that is slightly lower, because we have quite a lot of wheelchair users who come to the space. But we did follow the guidance from DAC for this particular show, so everything is as accessible as it can be. We also dim the lights in the space sometimes so that we can allow people who have visual sensory light issues a better environment really to enjoy the work. So we can be accommodating to people's particular needs. If if and when you do visit the exhibition, that will be an opportunity. You can talk to any of our staff, and we'll do our best to make the experience good for you. You'll also notice as well throughout the space we have socially distanced spaces, and we are all observing the safety measures that are in place through Welsh Government guidelines. And with that, I'm going to pass you over again to Alan.
I've got heavy hand. So this is our room. The house is something that you've got to see in the gallery, because there are lots of little things going on inside the space. There are furniture in situ in the houses. Outside you can see there is piles of ash, conversations. I'm sure that many of us have had same conversations over the past 6 or 7 months of being trapped in our house, and where do these pieces go to? Where do these conversations go to? I think that this piece has really evolved, and it's one of the ones that's been quite a challenge to develop, with not being able to get into a space. So I think the two ladies have worked really well on this piece. It's such a focal point in the room. It sits in the middle of the room with everything else around it. And I think it raises some really strong questions on viewing the piece. I will just pass you back over to Stefan, and I shall take you to see another piece of work.
So I just wanted to give you a close-up really of this piece by Susie Lark. Susie Lark is a really interesting artist who I had worked with briefly before when I worked at Aberystwyth Art Centre, and I really like the way that she pieces together these photographs. This is a really nice large-scale image that explores the idea of a person's relationship with the forest, but I think it's just really got a power to it, and we really enjoyed seeing this when it arrived in the gallery. We enjoyed it at selection stage, but we also enjoyed it once we saw it at the gallery. Alan, have you got?
Okay, so just want to look at Vivian Marie Kaplan's work, Imagination, Impression, Memory. These pieces are haunting, even more so seeing them on a gallery. It's one of the pieces that I've seen from the start, and to actually see it now, it still feels the same. You know, it leaves you asking questions, and it leaves you wondering what the person that's created the work is thinking. It's real. Yeah, I think haunting is the word, and there's just something in the third image, memory, the geese leaving. I think the geese. The geese leaving the image is, again, it'll stick with me as part of these times that we've lived through. So, okay, I will pass you over to Stefan now. The wonderful thing about flat screen TVs is you don't get them flashing lines on that you would have got with an old TV. This is Gaia Redgrave's work, Crucify. I think it was, having discussed it with her, it was filmed in a building in Coventry, I think she said. But again, it's another piece that is haunting, and with the sound that's playing along with it, and the audio description that Guy has added to the video, it gives you a real sense of like foreboding, worry as it just finishes and goes to the credits. Thank you, video. We'll get to see it from the start, which will be nice. So the video shows two people coming into a building, and then it shows somebody carrying something, and when you see the close-up of the person, they're actually carrying a person, which will stick with me from the first time that Gaia played this wonderful piece to me. And then we'll just let her come into. And this piece raises a lot of questions about access and the lengths that we have to go to get into certain places, and obviously the lack of access. As you can see, these wonderful 1960s steps tick all the boxes for lack of access. Lovely sound of Gaia's feet. She's captured the feet of the person on the stairs. I think Gaia's done really well to get them sounds, add them to the atmosphere of the video. Okay, I shall just move on to another piece. So this piece from Kyriakos is really capturing his home life. It's just every time you see this image, and I've talked about it before, but I keep going back to it. There's something you see. I mean, the fact that the curtains are closed, are we closing the curtains to what's going on in the outside world with the pandemic? But I love the fact that the two young girls that are in the video are obviously in masks, which you notice after a while, but the girl on the right has got little rabbit ears. Life appears to be going on as normal, while Kyriakos is educating them about the outside in Wales. So that's again another gem to see. So quickly just moving on. So it's a wonderful setting to come to, and it's a wonderful space. I have been to a couple of galleries during lockdown. To be honest, they are places that I've been to that I've felt the safest in. I think that we really need to support the galleries, and Stefan and his team have gone above and beyond in how they've tried to help and accommodate, and just through all the craziness of trying to get this done without actually being able to visit face-to-face meetings and things like that. It really is, worth trying to get down here. The safety measures are in place, so do seriously consider if you can leave the house to come down and hopefully have a look. So Want to move on now to one of our artists in focus. I'm going to move on to Paddy Faulkner. Is Paddy there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi everyone.
Hi, Paddy. You okay?
Yeah, do I describe myself now?
Yeah, if you want to, please.
Short grey hair, short beard, glasses with black rims, big nose, big ears, one of them works, grey top, no, black top, and grey hoodie. And
Okay.
I've had a wash.
Okay, Paddy. If you'd like to tell me, how does it feel to see this piece on the wall in the gallery?
I'm gobsmacked, really am. It's just great to see all the variety of the work, really. But to see this on the wall, and I never, if I hadn't entered it for the prize, don't think it would ever have been printed. I like the scale of it, and can I just do a shout out? Just thanks to everyone for the exhibition and everyone's worked really hard on this. I know they have. But to go through the training to do the audio description was a really enjoyable thing to do. Really, confidence about speaking about your work for one thing. But even the courier that came to pick it up was really concerned that it was stored in the right way for the journey. So shout out to the couriers. And a fellow called Josh who framed it. Sorry, Alan, what did you say?
So did you think, Paddy, that we would ever get to see it on the wall?
I never thought I'd ever get to see it printed anywhere, really, because it took 18 years to do, and it wouldn't go away. I kept, on days when I couldn't get out of the house, I spent a lot of time trying to make it perfect, getting rid of all the imperfections because it was taken at such a low light conditions. That it wouldn't go away. It kept, every time I kept going through the archives, I kept finding it and doing a bit more and doing a bit more. And then when the subject for indoors, outdoors came up, I thought that fits the theme, and it made me think more about what had gone on in the 18 years, really. But
so what?
I wonder how that's been interpreted. Alan?
Yeah, I think, you know, one of the things that I've discussed with Paddy over the past few months is it almost slipped under the radar, this piece. One of the selectors, as we were doing our kind of rounding up, really raised some interesting points about it. We started to think about the facts that Paddy had given us, and this wonderful thing started appearing. Can you tell us a little bit more, Paddy, about when you took it and the process?
Yeah, I only found out recently. A mate of mine who lives in Australia now, he was actually part of the original picture because it was him and his girlfriend, and it was sunset, and I thought I'll do a silhouette. But I knew that, so I took a picture of silhouette, and when I got it into the back of the camera, I'd taken other pictures, and this was one of them. And I knew that if I was going to do the landscape, because it always looks brighter through your own eye than it does in the camera. I set it at I think it was an aperture of f16. No light was coming in, it was black. So when I put it through the software, I just upped all the levels, and this thing appeared, and it was grainy all over. And then I spent a bit of time over the years. I like the color balance. It's like a 1970s old postcard, and then it's just majestic, isn't it? And the tower, I now know because I contacted my mate in Australia. It's Aberaidy Tower, taken from the cliffs in Pembroke. But it's just it's ethereal, isn't it? I think. I like taking working at the limits of the camera, the margins, because that's what all the interest is, and to find that because I decided to look at something that I didn't discard it because it was black. It was lucky, really, that I decided to just see if I could get any detail out of it. But
okay,
I'm so proud of it.
What future projects are you working on, Paddy? What have you been doing?
Well, when then they said that you could go out every day for half an hour, I felt like I have to go out for every day for half an hour now. And I went down to the river. So I've started working on filming the River Taff for a year, 500 meters around Blackway down to the Butte Park Education Centre. So I'm actually learning to see. I'm particularly interested in the way light plays on the water, and it's different every time. So that's I'm making a documentary about that, which I hope will be projected in an urban environment at some point, because we're all living vicariously in different ways through other people's process and other people's endeavours. So I think that's what I'm spending most time on at the moment.
Brilliant. That's great to hear. Thank you for hearing your comments about your work, Paddy.
No, you're welcome. Thank you, everybody. It's been a fantastic process to be part of.
So I'm just going to move over to Catherine Dillon's work. Is Catherine ready?
So this is Alana Tyson, Outside, Inside, Out. And we really love this as well. And they look really soft. So they're actually little houses that are made from, they're stitched latex, but they're actually really heavy because inside them, they've got some sort of casting agent. And I think it might be concrete actually. And they just really have a weight to them. Have we got...
So these images, Catherine, were taken in a busy space. How does that feel, seeing in the times that we're in now?
Dwi'n di atab yn Gymraeg, os di hynny'n...
I'll be responding in Welsh. I hope that's okay, Ellen.
Where's she going?
Oh yes, a year ago, I was in Cyfarthfa Castle for the opening of DAC with last year's show. And it's strange thinking back only a year ago, in that time, how our lives has been transformed completely. And I was in the cafe just after the journey down, and that's where these pictures were. It was quiet in the cafe at the time, and there was only one other family and two people working there. The two girls were just chatting amongst themselves. It was such a glorious place to be. And this idea that somebody tries to get some kind of adventure out of every possible experience and notice those small details which can still be exceptional, finding uncommon in the common. So it was an interesting experience, but it is also an experience where makes you think how much has gone on in this world in just the short space of time of a year.
Okay, thank you for that, Catherine. I had internet connection issues, so sorry about that. So moving on, I would like to introduce you now to the Welsh Government's Deputy Minister and Chief Whip, Jane Hunt. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Jane Hutt. I've got grey fair hair. I've got a badge because it's White Ribbon Day on my jacket, and I think I'm on the left-hand side top left-hand side quarter of this screen, and I'm Deputy Minister and Chief Whip, but responsible for equalities. So I've just come to join you for a very few minutes to say thank you very much for the invitation. And I've managed to hear from Stefan, Alan, Paddy and Catherine. And it's all very inspiring. In fact, it's amazing to see what's been achieved by Disability Arts Cymru. And I'm very delighted to see that and hope that Natasha is here because Natasha's just been with me at a Light a Candle event earlier on for the elimination of violence against women. It's the day today, and I wanted to mention that. And Natasha was a wonderful speaker there. But also just to say this important work, we've got to sort of see where we can take this. I'm sure you never expected it to go like this, and it's so interesting hearing from the artists. But to have the work in a physical space to encourage local people to look at this, to view and experience it up close. You know, this is really great, and these galleries, we're all Wales. That's one of the amazing things. I've been to more virtual meetings where I've met people from across the whole of Wales. We'd never get together. It was hard to get together if we'd be physically driving to meet with each other. But I can see the galleries. But I think we know, important point for me as Minister for Equalities is what adverse impact COVID-19 has had on so many disabled people across Wales. So it's great to see that there's so much is going on. Disability Arts Cymru has continued with so much, and that that the voices, talent, views are being expressed today through art. And I want to thank all of the artists in the galleries who've contributed and spread the message that people will be able to see or visit this work. So I'm just really grateful to be here for a few minutes. And we are going to be by the way, next week, don't forget, it's International Day for Disabled People. I'm going to be making a statement in the Senate next week. And also we have that, there's a manifesto launch, I know, in terms of Disability Wales. So there's lots to work on, and also the report that's being done by to look at the impact of COVID-19 on disabled people to help influence policy. And art and culture is a crucial part of that. So hopefully we've all been able to listen and learn from each other today. And thank you for your great art. It's great to be here, and such a wonderful idea. And good luck to Disability Arts Cymru, and good luck to all of those artists, because this is the launch of Outdoors, Indoors, Disability Arts Cymru First Art Prize. Diolch yn fawr.
Thank you so much, Minister, for that. I'm going to introduce two of our international artists for the event. We're going to give a little bit of a view about what they felt getting involved in something so birthed in Welsh identity. So please welcome Dawn Joy Leong from Singapore. Thank you, Dawn Joy.
Hello, I'm Dawn Joy, and I am a middle-aged Asian female with very short, spiky black hair, red-rimmed spectacles, a yellow scarf, and a black dress. The British Council in Singapore has been very active in supporting various projects and events in the area of the arts and disability. And it was during a working trip to the UK last year, around this time, sponsored by the British Council, that I met Ruth through my collaborator, Singaporean theatre practitioner Peter Sao. So I'm really honored to have been invited by Ruth to be one of the panel for the DAC Art Prize. This has been a very important experience for me as an artist with various disabilities. I am autistic, and I have a number of medical conditions. Additionally, because I have been actively campaigning for greater visibility and equity of disabled artists in Singapore, especially emphasizing the need for disabled leadership in the arts. I really learned a great deal being in the panel from the artists themselves who submitted such amazing work that emanated from so many different perspectives, and from my fellow panelists in the judging process, about accessibility, about different ways of approaching and perceiving the works, as well as about their own artistic practice. We also had a lot of fun meeting on Zoom. So we artists in Singapore, we have much to learn from our UK counterparts, especially about the arts and disability. And being a part of the DAC Arts Prize has brought the learning experience right up close and made it all the more powerful for me. It's such a valuable and richly rewarding experience. So thank you again for this opportunity.
Diolch, Dawn Joy. It was great having you part of it. And I'm glad we have an ongoing relationship with you now. I'm going to introduce our next panelist from Pittsburgh, USA. And I hope she hasn't got her pajamas on because it's early morning there. Fran Ladona Flaherty. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. No, pajamas are just from the waist down right now. From the waist up, I'm good. Thank you, Dawn Joy. Thank you, Ruth and Alan and Stefan and all of and Kate. And I'm going to obviously forget a lot of the other people who contributed to this project. But first, it's really lovely to finally put faces into the artwork. As an artist and as a curator, it's really important for me to be able to make that connection between the artist and the work. And I see just from the little thumbnails here on Zoom that some of the artists are present. So first, I want to say thank you to the artist for putting forth your work and being here with us. And I just want to extend something that Dawn Joy had said about having this experience with disability arts. Ruth was, I've known Ruth for a while now, and she's been one of the most incredible mentors that I've had in disability arts. I am a deaf woman with other physical disabilities, and I forgot to describe myself. I am a Southeast Asian woman with black hair, red rimmed glasses, hoop earrings, and a black polka dot shirt. I have short hair too. I have the standard COVID-19 haircut. So Ruth last Friday, I think, was a guest of mine in a panel of a show that I curated called Anthropology of Motherhood and the Culture of Care. And she was in a disability arts empowerment tool workshop. I had so many appreciative comments from the participants after Ruth gave her workshop. It was such a learning experience. We in the United States, especially the last 4 years, have been really behind in trying to keep up with disability justice, social justice, and it's really important for us in Pittsburgh and in the United States to listen to our partners and our friends who have had the experiences that Ruth has had and this organization has had. So I applaud everyone who has been here. I especially am very appreciative to Stefan and all the other galleries that participated in this process. For the venue, it's so important for disability artists to be able to express it through art or lived experiences. Sorry, I'm just waiting for the interpreter to catch up. And also being in this particular show, this indoor-outdoor show, really gave me an opportunity to be intimately connected to the disability arts community in Wales. It was such a pleasure to know, not from the perspective of disability artists, the Wales, just the area, the culture, and it's a beautiful experience. And I just want to say that that experience was, I think, is worthy of anybody who's visiting Wales should really have that kind of perspective coming into Wales from the disability artist perspective, because it shows us such a beauty that I don't think would be experienced otherwise. So again, thank you so much for having me, Ruth. I love you very much, and thank you for all of the supporters of this. And if I'm stuttering a bit, again, because it's very early in the morning. Well, not very early, but early enough.
No.
So.
Diolch, Fran. Thank you for everyone. We've come right to the end. It's been brilliant to have all the contributions today, but also to celebrate the art in a physical space. If you're traveling up that way, do be aware to book in ahead of time, because there are very strict social distancing about how many can be in the gallery at one time. But we're delighted that we've got it physically out there. We thank everyone for the journey we've been on. Do keep in touch with us through our website. This event's been recorded, so we'll be able to put it out in a few weeks' time when we've sorted it out through the editing. But take care, be safe, and keep in touch. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for all the speakers, all the technical workers, and for Rachel doing the Zoom. She's
Well done,
brilliant.
Alan.
Take care.
Looking very smart there.
Oh.